your documentary is about the issues of hunger and obesity in America, and those are two topics that people don't usually consider to be in the same thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So can you explain maybe a little bit about how you put them together and why you chose to put those two topics into your documentary?
Yeah, I mean, when we originally started exploring the problem of hunger in America, we didn't realize how closely linked it would be to obesity. And early in our research, which included reading a lot and talking to a lot of experts and journalists, but also getting out there and talking to a lot of people who were experiencing hunger and food insecurity, we realized that there is an undeniable link, and that sadly most people don't understand it or know about it. And we felt that it was really important to explore that if we were going to make a film about hunger in America. And we decided to do that in the Mississippi Delta because it had the honor, I guess, of being the most food insecure and the most obese state. And so we thought that was a great place to explore the dual problems of food insecurity and obesity.
Yeah, I remember watching it and having the line saying they have the most obesity and then they also have the most food insecurity, and just being like, really? How is that?
Yeah.
And then you go into explaining it, and it is one of those things where I think a lot of Americans are aware of the hunger issue and they're aware of the obesity issue, but they're not aware of the ties between the two. And so, like you said, did you actually go into it planning on having both of those in it, or did it just kind of like happen?
It's sort of, we didn't go into it knowing that we would be exploring both obesity and hunger. And I think with this film, as with most documentaries I've worked on and made, you know, you go into it with an idea or a question or some notion that you want to explore, but ultimately, you know, the onus is on you to explore and see what you find and then tell that story. And so we found that, you know, again and again, we were finding that obesity and food insecurity were happening in the same place and in the same house and often in the same person. And then we felt responsible to tell that story and help get, help Americans to become more aware of that for a lot of reasons, but especially because of the economic cost of not paying attention to this problem.
Mm-hmm. You went to many different places for this film, and there was a lot of places that I don't think most people would even see unless they lived in that place, especially
Coburn, Colorado.
Coburn, yeah. That's not like a travel destination. You
right,
know?
right.
And so out of all of the places, was there one place that really just stuck out to you as like a really significant place that you like will stick with you for a while and stuff?
Yeah, I think that you know, we wanted to expose that the problem exists everywhere in America, not just where you might most expect it in urban centers or in Appalachia. And I think that the place that did most surprise me was Coburn, Colorado. I mean, here is this beautiful town in western Colorado, and you know, yet everybody in that town was affected in some way by food insecurity. And at the same time, there were these incredible people that were working so hard to help eliminate the stigma and shame associated with it. So I think the most surprising thing when we arrived in Coburn was understanding that so many people were affected and so many people were working. You know, and I think that's what is a revelation to a lot of people who see this film. You know, there are the bulk of people who are either on food stamps or getting help from food banks have at least one working parent in the home. And that was really just seeing the many, many people in that town who not only were experiencing hunger, but were so courageous in sharing their stories. It was really remarkable, and I hope to go back soon, and it certainly left an imprint on me.
If you could pick one specific person out of all of the people, the amazing people in this film, who would be the one person that just like touched your soul and you'll never forget that one person?
I can't do it.
You can't pick
because
it?
Each person touched me in a way that has forever changed me. Mm-hmm. Barbie, you know, spending so much time with her over a period of a couple of years and being basically along the ride with her, which, you know, at times was very, very high and at times was very, very low. Mm-hmm. Miss Nichols, the teacher, and certainly, last but not least, Miss Odessa Cherry, who, I'll never forget that day in the classroom when she was introducing the honeydew, and those hands went up, and more kids wanted to have a honeydew than a bag of chips, and it was just incredibly inspiring to see her take her own diagnosis of diabetes and turn it into something so positive. And also to see, I think that we often see stories that are quite negative in the Delta. And also often when you see stories about healthy eating in schools, it's in well-funded districts. So to see a district like that with to say not a lot of money is to overstate it. I mean, a really, really struggling school district who are making such great efforts for educating and feeding those kids nutritiously. There are nights when I go to sleep feeling really, really energized by that still. So sorry, I couldn't give you one. That's like asking someone to tell you which of their babies they love the most.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, well, thank you so much for sitting down with us, and thank you for this wonderful documentary.
Thank you. It was my pleasure to be here on Frequency TV.
Yeah.